All right, here we go with game 3. We had a draft diff in game 2. We had a steamroll in game 1. What do we have for game 3 in order? KT is on red side. They're opting for the Jax. We're seeing Jackson Cassante again, Wukong again, Kassadin again. They're going to allow this inside out disadvantage to be played. It is exceptionally good in the 1v1. It is known. But how much are you seeding? Is Lee Sin going to be hamstrung because he's not able to get out from this situation? BDD is going to be happy to farm up in this situation and should be stronger against the team. We do have classic pairings in the bot lane. Xayah Rakan is as good as it gets. So that was probably the cost of the bans making it through. But in exchange, KT is able to get Varus Leona for themselves once again. So this is a bad start for Faker. You don't want to do this with the Veigar. You're letting the Veigar get some free stacks. Boom, look at this. Faker getting completely outclassed by BDD here. Is it all in an effort to get a ward to check out Wukong? No, BDD's just hovering. Attacks once on the backline to get the line to reset. Kassadin does not lose any minions from it, not yet. Look at these movements by BDD, stepping outside of the wave, prioritizing the last hits. Kassadin will try to use that Q to get a shield in response. If the Q doesn't actually deal damage, I don't know. Would it get the stack? We'll have to see. Let's see if we get a track on that. But here we go. The dominant lane, level 1, not as strong, but same thing is true about Leona Varus. They really want to have level 2 to be able to pop you to get that full reset. And level 3 is when they're super deadly because Leona can stay and tank the fight. But when she goes forward, Rakan can just, in exchange, go forward up against the Varus. So we'll see. Oh, we got Flash in. Looking for it right off the bat. Now, a lot of these champions, they go Q level 1. I think it's an inaccuracy. You can start with E, and you actually E on the 6 as the 6 minion is dying, and then you get your Q as you level up. Wukong looking for the deep dive against Kassadin. Way to snuff that out from Faker. Seeing that play and getting to safety. Well done by him. And yeah, Kassadin's going to be playing from the back seat now. But, you know, BDD on this Veigar, it is a Dorn's shield. There's not that much they can do. And he takes a misstep. He steps into the angle of the Lee Sin. Lee Sin's able to go in. Kassadin's getting out. It's such a close fight. The first blood does go to Owner. That's such a big difference. And the rest of this fight is going to be favored for the Wukong with that stacking resistances. He's trying to get to the Rakan. Now, once the Rakan is here, E/W perfectly, smoothly played by Keria. So good. And they get both kills. Huge advantage to T1. They will also pick up the Scuttle Crab. And Lee Sin will be backing with a tremendous amount of gold out of this situation. So, what is the exchange? You had Rakan leaving bot. Xayah used it as a chance to get back. Picks up 650 gold worth of items. And steps back. Now, what is Varus and Leona to do about it? Are they going to try to hold this freeze? Oh, Rakan stepping on that side of the wall. That's just a misplay, Keria. You can't do that. Why on earth would you go on that side of the wall? Just dying for free. Good job by Lehens. Maybe they thought Varus was backing at that moment, but no, they're just holding that freeze. Easy as they come. So now you've got a tremendous point of strength, and Xayah's going to be stuck trying to farm this wave. Wukong's going to come, and they're going to go for a dive. No, they're not going to do it. This is a huge missed opportunity. How do they not bite on this? KT, come on, you got to do this. Rakan is dead. He's not going to be back in lane for another 25 seconds. Wukong was in position. They had a huge wave. They opt to just go back. But that would have been, dare I say, an easy turret dive. And here we go again. That was the difference. Veigar's attack went off first. But because Faker was running away from it, it was that duration in time that allowed Owner to get the first blood. So Lee Sin will be gargantuan here. Yeah, Keria just having no idea about Lehens. Jeez. Now, T1 not afraid to pull the trigger up in top lane. You've got Zeus shoving this wave in. He's going to try to get the rest of this thing in and get a recall while Jax is stuck to this wave. You may see Owner try to fight a Wukong right here with a big advantage. He does have Iron Spike Whip, so he goes in 50% of Wukong's health is gone. Owner does not even bleed. So this game will be Lee Sin's to carry. We'll see if that can make up for the difference in Kassadin's weak laning phase, right? Is the presence of a 2-kill first blood Lee Sin going to be enough to get them ahead and be able to play with some amount of confidence here? T1 pushing in bot, accomplishing the push, but this means Leona should be able to pull this wave out. They don't need to get this all the way out. They've got their 4 minions, and Lehens is just going to hold on to that wave now. And they're going to hold this freeze. So again, Xayah Rakan is going to be stuck backing with less money than Varus. And dare I say, with this minion wave, pretty messed up for them. Keria getting into a bit of a pickle there as well. Maybe trying to bait for Lee Sin, but like, how strong are you? It's 6 versus 6 with Faker and Veigar here. Good job with the W from BDD, putting it in a spot that was exceptionally hard to dodge. Gets Faker for the extra tag. Normally that spell does not hit unless you have people stuck on the stun range, so good job by him. And we see this top lane now, right? We've got the early sheen from Jax. So Jax is really looking to just get an empowered W in whenever he can on his trade windows. Kassante's going to dominate every other moment. Here we go. Lee Sin. Oh, he doesn't have level 6. He does have Q, and he's been stunned, so he doesn't need to hop around. But you are fairly weak here. Wukong could have dived. The opts not to. They end up going for the push. Lehens is going to come pick up some stacks. BDD getting full power on his Q. Lehens going to try to harass the backs, but Kassadin is already back in base with Merc Treads accomplished. So between the Varus ultimate, Veigar cage, Veigar damage, and Leona roams, I love the Merc Treads here. Here we go. Knockback into all out. But Keen's about to have his counterstrike. It's about to come up. No, he doesn't get it. And it's the 1v1 from Zeus. He gets it. My goodness, the damage on that champion when you go all out. And now he's going to have a tremendous lead. Steps out, draws out the aggro. You can ignore the decoy clone here. We're going to see if Lee Sin goes for a W into a Q. I don't like that ward hop at all. But oh my goodness. I don't think he needed to ward hop. He could have just jumped to Zeus to make it happen. But maybe that extra, half a Teemo length was the difference. Beautiful E-flash into the slow, into the Dragon's kick to get the pop on the Wukong. So Wukong going to be very far behind. Lee Sin very far ahead. But is it going to make up for this Varus? Varus is in position to do well this game. He's going to be big, faster, sooner. Bigger, faster, and stronger sooner in the bot lane than Guma. Guma has not dropped a biscuit yet. But, when it comes to that stage in the game where you're trying to survive all ins, look at this play. Well executed. Nice combos. He does have the ultimate, but pop. Empowered Q auto to survive this. And I don't think Cuz was realizing it. I don't know what's up with all these guys in this game walking on the dangerous side of walls. I don't know if they're trying to get too far. Okay. It does give him the distance because of the flash versus E-flash. And you know what? If it's going to get you that kill, use the control word. If it makes it that much more certain. K'Sante up 15 CS in here, but we do have, this is a part of the game where Jax is fine. Now, Jax opted for Grasp of the Undying, which is very much for laning. It's not going to give him that tremendous side lane, I'm definitely just bigger than you sort of presence. Ooh, Zeus. Yeah, you got to watch out, Keen. You were getting yourself into position. Zeus is getting ready to out you all. Go slow, flash, boom, slow again. No, they decide not to. So he gets away. But like I was saying, the Grasp of the Undying, right? It's a laning rune, and if you're down 20 CS and a death in your lane, then Grasp is not going to end up paying for itself in the side lane situation. So we'll see. We'll see if Keen is going to be a little bit of a weak link. Things are certainly pointing towards a T1 having emphatic victory in this game, because really front to back, they're just winning everywhere except Guma versus Varus. And even they are not that far behind. It was one misstep by the Keria. But we'll see once we get to these first dragons how Varus is going to be using those empowered Qs to try to get big chunks out on the fight. Varus Veigar, very nice combination. Veigar puts up the cage that allows Leona to throw her spells into the middle of the ring. It allows Varus to throw his ultimate right through the middle and basically ensure contact. Leona opting to ult, but not much gain to be had there. Minion wave was dying. And just get an empowered Q from the Varus to the face, which, you know, it's something. It adds up. It's about 80% of her health is left. So they're whittling away. They want to try to keep them lower so that there's no retribution, no threat of retribution. Man, Zeus is taking this lane over, just absolutely in the face of the Jax. Clean animation cancels here. Good job by Zeus. So what are the team fights going to look like? Oh, we got a flash here. In response, we've got Xayah using her ultimate, dodges out the anti-heal from Varus, and they get a very one-sided trade here in response to a flash engage from the Leona. Guma doing just fine, but now very low on health. Very low on mana, I should say. Are they going to go for more of a push? It looks like Varus is just going to take these last hits as they come, not trying to set up a freeze while he's 1v2. Very dangerous. Let's see if Lehen's on Leona starts moving over to get a gank. It does look like she's coming to mid, right? You can set up for a counter gank here. You can also start setting up for the second Rift Herald, which you do not want to give to this team to snowball. They will be happy enough to give you a dragon to get that Rift Herald and start breaking some of these structures down to expand their lead. But it looks like Leona's going to spend a moment coming out here, just clearing some wards. Well worth your time to come here. Kassadin is at 50 and 50, trying to survive mid. Not going to be in execute range from a Veigar, but really prioritizing dodging those spells now that you have that extra mobility. Ooh, he ends up sitting on it. Big chunk from BDD, but I don't know, was first strike not up? Or was it just that all that damage got eaten into the shield owner with a beautiful play? Countering the attack. Yeah, BDD not level 11. We were saying not a threat for the ultimate to get an execute there. Seemed pretty ambitious. I wonder if Faker, I mean, it really did look like he stepped back into that ring. Expertly baited. And Lee Sin ends up being the benefactor. Now, this Gore Drinker, magical footwear, Lee Sin is going to be flying around this map. Already 4-0. Like we said, that first blood put him in a position to carry. On top of that, getting the second kill. There's no way. Zeus, this seems like way too much. Was that all for a Demolish proc? I didn't see the Demolish. Was it active? Normally, if you want to go and like combat this lane, you go Shield Bash as the Cassante. You can go to get these like spikes on the turrets. Oh my gosh, he missed it. He ends up using the W to push him out and into the waiting arms of the team, but King goes Counter-Strike. It is not enough. All Out just takes him out, and Topside is completely dominant from T1. Wukong 0-2, Jax 0-2. We have bounties to claim on both of the Topside champions. Lee Sin and Cassante are enormous. This is going to be a fairly free game for Kassadin to scale up because there's much less pressure on him this game than last game. Now, can KT Rolster leverage? Oh my gosh, that's so greedy from Lehens. Were you baiting? This didn't look like a bait. It looked like a feed. They end up almost getting the trade back on Guma. Oh, it would have been worth if they could have gotten that trade, but they don't. So Guma's going to go back. You're going to see Rakan. Now, they're not taking advantage of the split recall here. Something they, maybe could have done, pull the wave out and then dash back and then share the recall on the way home. Okay, that damage was just nothing, right? Casting with that innate anti-magic shell on top of the shield from the Q and on top of the Merc treads that he's got. So that Kassadin is just never dying to Veigar. Keen trying to get some amount of action in. Cuz tapping on the way out. And this is just straight loose from the hens. They know you're there. Standing on the edge, like this was not a bait. And doesn't get anything off into Guma, but almost gets the turnaround anyways. Varus, that is just the strength of Varus at this stage. So what are they going to do now with Yumu's Ghostblade and Serrated Dirk? You're going to finish up your second item before buying Manamune third. This is the traditional path of this Comet Varus poke build. Exceptionally good. I think there is a chance for people, they haven't really done that much experimenting with Essence Reaver and Navori Quickblades, but they definitely should, because there is a large amount of damage to be had. Or you can go Collector into Navori, something to get those extra damage on the Qs, which is even better than having another lethality item, especially once you already have two to start that multiplication effect. All right, so there it is. We were talking about that. There, it confirmed. Zeus can use All Out in response to Veigar's cage to send him over his own cage wall. And it counts. It doesn't get him stunned, and it looks by all means like he just gets to walk right through it the second time as well because of it being unstoppable. The first, it triggers the wall effect, but nothing happens. So then you don't need to trigger the wall effect a second time because you've already done it. All right, so now we're going to get into rotation. 17 minutes, much later than they would have normally expected to. Both teams were happy to stay in that bot lane situation for a bit longer. Perhaps Xayah Rakan only because they got that cheap kill on Lehens. But now you're going to see the standard rotation. Carries are going to move to mid. You've got your big fatties in the side lane, K'Sante and Kassadin. They will try to opt to get K'Sante into the Jax lane. Jax can win a protracted fight against Kassadin, but you'll just see Kassadin kind of push the wave and then just port out, not accepting what's coming to him. So in this case, he gets the advantage. First one to rotate from bottom. Are they going to go for a 4 or 5 man dive here? We've already seen that the Veigar cage is not enough. Now Veigar puts the cage out, gets some chunk damage onto K'Sante, but the team moving forward is already enough. They get that turret. They're going to get this Herald to charge, and this is what we were talking about. Second Herald into a snowballed gold lead. 5k is the difference now for T1. So expect them now, since there's 2 minutes till Baron push, right? We're going to set up some amount of transition wards on the eastern quadrant that will keep Kassadin, Faker safer on this push. On the side lane, you might even see Zeus coming over, but they will send a solo to this lane with a little bit of protection. They'll send Kassadin over to the top side, 3 in the mid, and they're going to start pushing out and then look to make their vision play in the northern quadrant, right? By moving up here, then they'll be able to threaten Baron. If you deny vision on the Baron pit, you'll be good. You see that there's already a ward in the pit that is meant to simply preempt the 20-minute Baron if it were to happen. Now check this out. Ooh, owner going for it. Gonna get caught out, but it's not enough. K'Sante's still very strong. They tried to use the engages. He tried to use All Out to disjoint the Jax during Counter-Strike, but they are not able to get it. But I love this play, right? Because you go for the play, your ults will be back up in a minute, but Jax's flash will not. And now as you're preparing for Baron, now that's if they actually go for Baron. Maybe they won't. They should. You should take that advantage. Say Jax has no flash. He might even be teleporting to this lane now. And we're going to go set up for the Baron while we have our ultimates and you don't have your teleport. They opt to come down and actually finish off the turret, which is brilliant. You get a little bit of extra gold. Maybe you get someone to a spike. Specifically, Xayah's can be very close to those Nabori Quickblades. You see that she's already got the Warhammer and the pickaxe. So not much further to go for Xayah. She's already more than halfway there. And getting that turret gold, we'll see. Do they want to give her a couple more waves before they go to this? They're going to be late, but check this out. Look at these wards that have been placed. This one right outside the wall that will not be seen by control wards in the middle of the pit. And then you see another one over the blast cone. So they tried to tuck in some vision on the left side. They're giving themselves one little sliver, one corridor to work through that will allow them to to approach from an angle knowing that there's no threat there. So check out where Wukong is, right? Wukong and Veigar moving into that little corridor that they've carved out for themselves, and maybe even make a play on Kassadin, which would break all chances of Baron. Now, with Lee Sin being this big, normally you want him to just play side to side and use all of his mobility to try to make plays. I don't really like that they're hovering this much on the bot, trying to bury this Jax. They're wasting a lot of time. But it could just be, hey, we're ahead. They have to panic. They have to protect against Baron. Therefore, we got a free inner turret and all the gold that comes with it. Now, will they respond? Will KT try to actually just rush this Baron? That would have been an available response to them. But they opt not to. Varus with the lethality build and not the most damage. It's a decent chunk, and especially with all that execute and missing health, he's still one of the better carries at taking this buff, but they opt to keep him out. Now, Faker playing with fire a little bit, and Zeus definitely playing with fire. Does not get the all-out over the rock, so does not get the full disjoint and just ends up overstaying. And I have to wonder, what is T1 doing? First off, they probably could just have gotten the Baron. Next best play, because Baron is definitely on the table, the fact that they moved all their momentum through that vision in the Eastern Quadrant that we said that they had prepared. They knew that enemy team was not going to be rotating through there, so they maybe get a play. They get to push up on a turret. That's great. But at the same time, if your team's looking to actually pick up objectives, Zeus should not be this far up. Well played by Keen to not allow him the space to get that ride over the wall. Not that it would have brought him very far, but that extra little bit helps, and you get that extra stun effect. So it won't be happening this time. So yeah, like I said, T1, if they're coming back and saying, oh, we'll play for third dragon and do it like this, and then Zeus needs to back off. But honestly, they could have just gone right over to Baron as well. So anyways, doesn't happen. They're back in. They still have a 6k gold lead. They still have 3 dragons. So the writing is on the wall. They should be able to bring this home. We'll see what their overall technique is. Owner does not take the resonating strike. Opting again, right? The team's moving in together into this northern quadrant. You see Kassadin hovering to the left of his lane while Xayah is pushing. This is a very important step that not a lot of people do. You wait, and once Xayah has completed pushing, then you can go back to your own lane. But that way you're halfway there if it comes to them thinking about engaging. And it might be enough for them to dissuade the KT engage just by disappearing from your lane for 5 seconds. So now we have Kassadin content to go continue pushing. Mid wave and top wave are all the way in. The ward line is on the 70th percentile of the map. So T1 has full control of this quadrant. I don't like how much they're posturing forward. They're actually going to give up a free kill here. You know, I say free, but it is Zeus with all out taking an assassin. But with all this peel, they didn't need to be that far out. It was super risky. Ends up being that they cannot get any of the kills, KT that is. And T1 walks out unscathed. You'll see Zeus come back. He's going to recall back with the empowered recall. He also has teleport, so he may go straight to this bottom wave and start pushing, but I imagine he should start just pushing top. Team will go mid. Lee Sin is trying to slow down this wave. He doesn't need to commit. Let's check it out. Were they ever really in danger? 4 champions here versus a Veigar cage. And look at that. He chooses the angle that brings him over the cage and over the wall. And there's nothing left for Leona to do, and even the Rakan gets out. Look at that. Merc treads Rakan, using everything necessary, does not want to get held down, does not want to be in a position where he gets popped in fights. You often see lucid boots. Here we go. Ward hop into kick, and they're going to pick off the Veigar. And now they're going to really just pound down 2 lanes, battering rams of Baron minions in both sides. They've got enough time now. The wave is far enough from the top that they can actually just go as a team. Take this for certain. Kassadin jumps over the wall to try to set up a flank. They get Keen's counterstrike, which means that they will easily get the rest of this inhibitor. And then they will rotate up to top. With 20 seconds left until the Veigar respawns, they will also be able to get this turret if they opt to go for it. Rakan recalling again, filling up his wards. Look at this play, man. Faker, level 16 at 25 minutes into the game. feeling huge. Also has an active stopwatch to use if he so chooses. All right, now Zeus, your team is off the map and they are back. Please be a little bit more careful this time. There has to be a clock that goes off in your head. Now, they do have a ward inside the KT base, letting them know when people are leaving. And this will give Zeus that sort of timer inside his head that is going to go off when it's time to get out. I expect him to leave. I expect Cassante to move into the bot lane now. Kassadin to bring in the supers, and 3 people to move into this jungle. You see Rakan and Lee already moving together to secure all the vision on this quadrant of the map. They're even giving blue buff to Keria on Rakan. This is how much they trust him. They know that they want him flying around in the fight. Can KT contest this? There's really not a good path to doing it. Really, sending someone to top lane and actually getting another push to go would be fine. Mid lane, you can farm it underneath your turret. You're not really giving up that much. This Cloud Soul means you are going to get out-rotated for the rest of the game, so you need to make sure that another inhibitor does not go down. They should stay in their base. I would have loved to see Keen pushing up in top lane, trying to get level 16 and trying to get something on the return. But as you can see, Cassante's already on his way back up there. Kassadin is already looking at the bottom lane. And here's the replay on the action for Veigar. Zeus finding a good angle. Wow. All right. Look at that. That expert use of the E into W. So you cast E. He immediately starts channeling the same way that Fiora uses dash plus riposte to get in and use her riposte effect. So he dashes, holds the Q, which makes him unstoppable and allows him to punch through the wall to still connect with the Veigar, showing absolute mastery of these champions. You expect nothing less, but sometimes you just don't even know that a play like that is available. All right, we choose not to all out there. This time he does it a little bit wrong. W holds it long enough to actually throw himself into a wall. It doesn't actually stop you from being stunned on the back end. Let's check out this wards that are here. I love this position from the wards that they have. One just outside the gate and also one in the bush. So they have very good information over these T1 rotations. The question is whether or not they can do anything about it. Owner so strong, going toe-to-toe with a Jax from this position. All right, Cassante again. They go for the burst and they get it. He's not able to all out. He steps a little bit too far. He digs too deep. And this is going to be the end of the Baron. One silly death like that, and your whole team needs to back off because this is the pick comp. They're trying to force fights. And if you're down numbers, you won't be able to get anything positive in return. So T1 steps back. No way. Holy crud. What a spot. That is a 3-item Gale Force combination on top of Rakan with Shurelya's. And they had exactly enough range to catch Varus through his flash. Gets caught not using heal and not using ultimate. There was a chance if he has the ult to cast it before he flashes. He probably thought he was good enough, but Rakan just so fast. Oh, Veigar putting up the cage again. One of the best anti-sieging tools in the entire game. Veigar is very strong in those situations. Maybe only Anivia being better. But they do get it with Varus down. They're able to take down the top turret. It did cost Cassante's teleport, but they're going to set up in position for Baron once again with this time. No more supers coming in mid. This is the very last one in mid wave, but the super, their next wave is big enough and will stall out on the continuation. Let's see the pick right here. Veigar execute damage. The last super is gumming up this wave in mid. I love that play. Gumayusi using Gale Force in response to the Rakan dash to try to get extra gap close for the Rakan. He gets the big engage, and here it is. Instead of going for Baron, they go for the all-in, but they do get Rakan. How much is it going to cost them on the way back? Zeus is going to go chase down Keen while the team just picks off everybody else. This is going to be all she wrote. Guma, careful. Do not get caught like last time. All right, Lee Sin kicks to the face. Said, I don't need to hit a skill shot. Point and click my foot to your face, Veigar. And that's going to be it. T1 putting their foot to the face of KT Rolster for Game 3, taking a 2-1 lead. KT's going to have to win both games in a row to make it back in to advance in the playoffs. So let's check it out.